Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. So sorry for coming a wee bit late, but there's no such thing as a wee bit late is late. We're very, very sorry, but now we're here. No doubt you've also been regaled, is that the word to use, by stories that have been hitting us in the past couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I'm talking about the presidency and the travails of the vice president, so-called. Are these indeed travails? I have seen it in the press where reportedly the vice president has opined that, has said that he's not concerned with all these things going on. As far as he knows, he still has the confidence of the president. But then, as I said, fantastical stories, and well, so much so that one begins to question, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Some creative writing, or can there be substance to this? Well, we said, okay, luckily our friend of the house, Professor Tunde Samuel, we found a chink in his very busy schedule. So here we are. We have with us today Professor Tunde Samuel, Pro-Chancellor, Federal University, Oye, and APC chieftain. Good morning, Prof, for coming on. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Yori.
Prof, as I said, quite frankly, I'm confused. Maybe with a lot of other people as well. On the one hand, we're hearing stories that are fantastical. We've heard that one about, what is it now? We've heard that one about FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service. And we've also heard from, the top honcho there, Tunde Fowler, that this is ludicrous, it can't be done. And your former Deputy APC Publicity Secretary, Timmy Frank, he's just been sticking to his guns and he's saying he's ready for... So, Prof, we don't know what's going on. You certainly will. So what, may I ask, is your impression of what exactly is going on in the presidency?
I put everything in the realm of speculation. I want Nigerians to wait for APC's political high command to talk, until I personally get information from the political high command of my party. Mm-hmm. I leave everything in the realm of speculation.
I hear you. And for the moment, that's it. That's as much as you're going to say for the moment.
Yeah.
This is the problem that we have with this particular subject matter. We need to be able to quote sources, and nobody's saying anything. I think, again, they say you can't believe everything you read in the newspapers. In terms of clutching at straws, I have Tunde Rahman's statement that he put out. Tunde Rahman, by the way, is the media advisor to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he put out a statement. You look at the statement, you analyze, you then begin to wonder, okay, I started off with the presidency. I say, what's going on in the presidency, Prof? And say, well, for the moment, that's in the realm of speculation. Okay, so having read Tunde Rahman's release, maybe I can now ask, what's going on within APC? Because it didn't seem to me that it was the friendliest of releases, and I thought personally that Tunde Rahman probably wouldn't have released a statement like that if it hadn't got at least tacit approval. So against that background, I ask, what is going on? Is there anything? What is going on in APC as well?
From my own standpoint, I don't have the substance of Tunde Rahman's narrative. And by my training, the verifiability theory of meaning says, whatever it is not verifiable must not be said.
Okay. But at least, I don't know if it helps, I can tell you that one sentence that, one aspect of Tunde Rahman's statement, who is the media advisor for Tinubu, that struck me was that he was explaining that there's no way Asiwaju could undo the vice president. There's no way. That's not him. He's not going to undo one of his boys.
Okay.
And the last word, boys, is what caught my attention. That, wait a minute, this isn't casual communication. This is semi-formal communication coming from such a higher place as, Tunde Rahman's base. So I just, and then the reported sentiment within his office, which is, he had said in the statement that why would anybody be worried? Ashwaju certainly isn't worried. We are not worried about so-called presidential aspirations. And that is where I begin to say, why not? We sit here and we'll wait and we'll watch. Those kind of sentiments, as far as I know, within the APC family, they're a bit strange. I would have thought that Tinubu would swing automatically to the defense of the vice president because, but it didn't work out that way. You can see that I'm casting about here.
I'm still on my point. The law of semantic empiricism. You must be able to empiricalize whatever you want to say to convince the whole world. Let them see the facts with their kuro eyes. That is when they will believe you.
Okay.
I will not want to speak for the vice president. But I know for sure that Ashwaju will not betray any of his loyalists. That was why I made in my intro. I said I will wait for the APC political high command to talk first. That's the powerhouse.
APC high command.
Yes. And until I hear from the high command, I put everything in the realm of speculation.
I wonder if I can read into your statement, looking and picking through the words, that Osinbajo is a Tinubu loyalist.
There's no doubt about that.
Okay. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
So
if it's not Tinubu's loyalist, he will not be nominated for the post of vice president.
That's
the logic of my argument.
Yes. And I imagine most people who know about the story will also imagine like that. And so when the whole issue or question of so-called presidential aspirations came up, it was not dismissed out of hand.
Okay.
Within the APC, at least if we go by what was reported by, people whose responsibility it was to maintain a communication with the public, it was not dismissed out of hand. What was said was that, so what? Everybody has a right. So it wasn't that, where did you get that idea from? And no, none of that. So there was a tacit, you could see acquiescence with, shall we call it, the speculation for now.
Apart from that, I think the situational logic now is as if some people want to shift the goalposts in the middle of the match.
Okay.
Your program, organized by the ladies here.
Okay.
They've just ended now.
Okay, yeah.
I spoke about 2 months ago on the concept of true federalism. I am opposed to revolution in whatever shape or form. I would never support revolution because it's not only disruptive, it is destructive. However, I'm beginning to look at it objectively now with the current development. We must cast our minds back from where we are coming. From day one, we all surrendered our sovereignty. I said it on your program here. All the 36 states of the Federation, 774 local governments surrendered their sovereignty and put it inside the melting pot to melt into one united, indivisible, indissoluble Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is where we are coming from.
Yes.
In the middle of the march, we cannot be singing a discordant tune now in terms of who has monopoly of power. Who is born to rule? Who is born to be a slave? That wasn't where we were coming from. We have all surrendered our sovereignty to have a federal republic of Nigeria that is united and indissoluble. But with the discordant tunes now, we are asking for the dissolubility. That's what we're asking for.
If I can try and understand that,
Yes.
the whole rotational political structure thing and your analogy with where the goalposts were before the referee blew the whistle,
Yes.
and people taking note of that and planning their strategy accordingly, and now when you change the goalposts, are you talking about it? There was an idea that come 2023, it would rotate to the southwest.
That's simple logic.
That's the way it should be.
It is simple logic, Yori. It's not negotiable.
And there are concerns that there are forces who seek to disrupt this arrangement.
Yes.
In a negotiated way? Because things can change if well negotiated, but I'm trying to understand.
And I foresee the calculus. The calculus between now and 2023 will be very interesting. We will be seeing a lot of coalition and alliances.
Yeah.
We will be witnessing the pre and post MPN days again in 2023.
Now, you even step back one.
Yes.
Not PDP, NPN.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. By the way, sir, will APC, again, this is in the realm of conjecture, in 2 years from now, looking at it intellectually, will APC remain a united entity?
Hopefully.
You didn't say definitely.
As long as the current leadership maintains justice and fair play within the political high command. I'm not talking of just membership now.
Okay.
There is the political high command determines where the pendulum swings.
Of APC? The
Yes.
political high command of APC?
Yes. And that high command will not tolerate any geopolitical zone monopolizing power. That's going to be, by 2023, the idea of a geopolitical zone monopolizing power will determine whether Nigeria will remain one united country or not. By 2023, we will decide that.
That's heavy, because this brings to mind, my mind some complaints, some of which you have actually addressed. You have aired about critics and even members, or even loyal members of APC complaining that internal democracy could be stronger, could be better within their party.
Of course.
You have actually commented on that.
Yes.
Commented on that. Now, maybe it happens in a lot of places, but particularly in Lagos, we have heard that, and there have been explanations and understandings and all of that. But this seems to be at a national level, and this is a very grievous charge that, look, there are arrangements, gentlemanly arrangements, and it would look as if some parties to the arrangement, if not agreement, I don't know if one can go as far as, maybe that's the whole problem. Maybe it was an arrangement and not an agreement. I don't know. Sometimes, because you've used the word semantics yourself today, this is high wire politicking, and you're also throwing in this so-called monopolistic ideas of some people thinking in terms of a birthright. And let's not fancy around. When people talk that way, they're usually talking about the North.
Yori, let's be frank. Rotation is a major determinant of power in Nigeria.
Okay.
Take it or leave it.
a major determinant of power and peace?
Of course.
Yes, and peace.
By extension.
Yes, by extension.
If we are looking for power and peace in a just manner, we cannot shift the goalpost in the middle of the match.
Okay. It seems to me, because it's always the case that when we have you, Prof, one has to be listening very keenly and make what you can of the little that you will say, as you said, until I hear from the High Command.
Yes.
And I don't want to enter into speculation. So, having come this far in our conversation, I'm still trying to understand how everything that you've said in the past 10, 15 minutes or so, how does Yemi Osinbajo come into it? Because he's over there, he's doing his job. He was voted alongside, he was elected alongside the president, so he's doing his job. And you're talking about national and geopolitical and arrangements. And how does Yemi Osinbajo come into this, the vice president? And he seems to be getting, I just don't know how to put it. Is it the short end of the stick? That's why I say, what is, does he have travails? I'll come back to that again. Okay, maybe put the question of, how does Yemi Osinbajo come into all of this?
Your question to me is very interesting. Mr. Vice President was with me in Tinubu's cabinet.
Okay. You were both commissioners. He was Attorney General?
He was Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. And he's intellectually attractive, a person, by international standard. Right now, you can see high-wire political engineering. I've made that statement in this studio, and I'm repeating it today. He's in the middle of high-wire political engineering now.
Is it a case, let me ask there, is it a case of his being unfortunately and accidentally caught in the crossfire, as often happens? Or is it more than that?
There are several dimensions to it. The most important dimension is year 2023.
That's election year.
And if you are not ready for crisis, you don't play politics. If you cannot control or manage crisis, don't go into politics. Because it's all about crisis management and control.
Okay.
So if you don't have the lever for trouble, stay in the background as a gentleman.
It reminds me of a Fashola statement. I mean, it's not that Fashola is the only one, but I've heard Fashola say, Minister Babatunde Rajesh Fashola use the expression, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
Politics is not for the lily-livered. It's not. And that is why Asiwaju remains the most outstanding. Is mentally and physically ready to control and manage crisis. He keeps smiling in the face of challenges and travails in the last 20 years. I can say that. About him any day. I don't think we should be discussing power ascendancy outside rotation. That is the key issue now. Power ascendancy in Nigeria must be kept within the realm of rotation. Anything outside it, we are violating the basic tenets of the true federalism that has united all of us together.
And it seems to me that, taking from your statement,
yes,
this would appear to be a principle within the APC
it
and
is.
APC High Command.
It is.
And if so, I can only conclude, not knowing enough, that in some way, shape, or form, the vice president might have been adjudged to maybe not paying full attention to this principle, which would seem to be inviolable. This is just my guesswork, because you said that there is no negotiation on that.
No, no, no.
There can be no rotation of power, outside of, how did you put it? Outside, there can no be political, there can be no power ascendancy outside of
Rotation.
the agreed principle of
rotation.
rotation.
Yes.
So every APC man is down with that.
Yes.
Well, should be, including the president and the vice president,
Of
who are
course.
of the same party.
Yes.
But it seems that the vice president is in some sort of trouble, and well, the president, well, he's the CNC. Everything stops at his desk, and quite frankly, everybody's just looking to be in perhaps his good books. So he's cool. He's to one side. But how does the presidency, because he's a member of APC as well, so I would imagine that what you've just explained would not be a problem, because he's a member of APC and he knows well, and he's a Democrat. But you did speak
to the best of my knowledge.
You spoke about changing goals after the Western whistle has gone.
Mr. President, Mr. Vice President is a gentleman.
Sure.
And occasionally, if not more often, you must be rough in your attitude as a politician.
There are rough aspects. There are rough aspects to the conduct of politics in our society, is what you are saying.
Yes.
And if you are not, if you can't stand the heat, you shouldn't be in the kitchen.
Why? What are you doing there?
Okay. Thank you for that clue. Now, the vice president, as you said,
yes,
he's a gentleman.
Fine gentleman.
He's an intellectual. He's
yes.
a lecturer.
Yes.
He was sitting down, JJ, in his university doing his academic work. They went and brought him, say, come, assignment, national assignment.
And he has performed creditably well over time.
But it would look he's falling out with his mentor. That's what it looks like now.
Well, I don't think so.
Okay. That's a bit reassuring.
I think that statement is misplaced.
Aha, aha. It's overstated. All the fantastical stories in the paper,
that was why initially, in my intro, I told you I wait for a statement from the political high command. Because I know the political high command is ruminating over the issue already. We should wait for the high command to talk. And I told you, APC is blessed with philosopher kings and rational thinkers throughout the 1936 states of the Federation.
So this is not a matter of what Tinubu wants. It's a matter of there's a high command, and
that's what the party wants.
It's what the
rotation
party wants.
is an accepted principle within the party. Let me put my logic in clear perspective. A geopolitical zone has remained in power. It's going to be there for 8 years. We have not, in the history of this country, Yori, maybe I don't know, but there has never been a time when a particular geopolitical zone will want to shift the goalpost and succeed.
Yes, okay. There's never been a time. And that's why it's dangerous.
There's never been a time in the history of this country, because that is the basis of our coming together.
Before I go to break, again to come back to it, so how does VP Yemi Osinbajo come into all of this? Is it that he is not sufficiently extolling this idea and a total intolerance for anything that deviates from it, whereupon, well, his own people might throw him under the bus?
I don't want to believe all been said about him.
Okay. Okay.
I want to live. You see, because my understanding of his person is that he talks less as a character. He will not glibly, just open.
In fact, he's hardly said a word since all of this began. In fact, people were
he's so
criticizing
blessed.
that.
He's so blessed with that grace of God that in the height of provocation,
He can be chill.
even inside Tinubu's cabinet, when a guy wants to pull the vice president's legs with jokes, he will just be smiling.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't believe.
All
I don't
that is
believe
being
it.
said
I don't believe
about him.
I don't.
Okay. Well, let's go on a break now. We'll go on a break. It's an intriguing conversation, as you can see. We all, not just me, you also, are picking through Prof's words and are forming your own impressions. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll take your calls as well as I continue. I continue looking for answers. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. Like most people, maybe there will be a few within the inner caucuses of the APC, within the high command that will know exactly what's going on, but the rest of us, we're limited to the newspapers and the radio stations and the television stations as to what exactly is going on. These, as it's being referred to, Vice President's Travails. So the question I'm asking our guest, Professor Tunde Samuel, Pro-Chancellor of Federal University Oye and APC chieftain, is that is it right to refer to these things as travails? Does he have travails? The one place I've seen the vice president quoted was for him to say that he doesn't have anything to say, he's not concerned. Perhaps even that was said through a spokesperson, that he believes that he still has the confidence of the president. I've even seen arguments, or shall we say explanations, that wait, what's this whole storm in a teacup about the vice president's duties, the head of the economic team? All of that has been taken away. Everything seems to be being done to diminish his stature. People have gone as far as to say to render him redundant, and it doesn't look very good, and from the point of view of the outsider looking in, and why Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is standing for it. Meaning, why is he not speaking up? That what's going on? Can you tell me what's going on? Because it's a combined team. We talk about it's a joint presidency. It looks as if VP, to some people who might not know as much about it as they need to, it looks as if there's a widening gulf.
I don't think so.
Okay.
There is another logic in the current twist of events. Some fifth columnists may want to throw spanners into our works as a party. It now depends on how we are able to manage the situation.
Okay. Okay.
Winning the election in 2019 was a surprise to many people because we altered the political calculus in 2019. And political strategists the world over will have a barrage of strategic options for every strategic plan.
Okay.
And they bring them out one by each regularly.
As required.
So I'm not surprised. Those who are looking for power will stop at nothing. When you are looking for power, because of its romanticism, you will stop at nothing. It's the most romantic element in the world. prettier than Miss World.
And able to seduce
Yes.
almost anybody.
So it does, you can even lose your senses of proportion when you are intoxicated with power.
No matter how humble you started out being. No matter
Power? Yori?
Okay, Joshua has called in. Joshua in Irewole, good morning to you, sir.
Okay, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
And I greet Prof. Sam.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
I would say that I think as a Nigerian, I can speak for myself, and I don't know if I represent the sizable majority of Nigerians. I would say that we are tired of the shenanigans of politicians. Secondly, I don't think there's a travel for the vice president. He's occupying his position, and I think the president respects him very well. The balance of power is still there, so I don't see travel here. The economic team put up was necessary for Nigeria to rejig the economy. If the vice president has done well, most of the things he has done in the area of economy should have been institutionalized, and it's good for us. So I welcome that team, but as vice president, he will be there for 8 years. That is good enough. Uncle Yori, please talk to your guests. The thing that we are saying here now is what will happen after PMB, after Buhari. That's the issue. Now, let them understand that the Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Hausas have monopolized power. They think that rotation is about the three of them. They have forgotten that Nigeria has a large population of other minorities. Like I'm from Kogi, which you will call Middle Belt. When it suits the Hausas, they count us as numbers. When it suits the Yorubas, they count us as numbers. I want to say that that equation is going to change after PMB. I think we should be looking at having an ideology of leadership in Nigeria. Who is going to rule the country for the betterment of the country? Not that this person is there for me. He should be. I know he's talking about the attraction of power. It has to come to me. We saw what happened to Abiola. But the point is this: we have come to a Nigeria where now development should be ahead of politicking. And everyone will have to sacrifice after PMB. That's the truth. Everyone. And agree to a revolution of ballot. Who is going to be the president of Nigeria? Let all of them go and sit down. We have come to a time, whether you are Yoruba, you are Hausa, you are Igbo, you have to put the interest of Nigeria first.
Oh, thank you very much for calling in, Joshua. It's an interesting point he makes. And wasn't that the premise of APC coming into office? That from the beginning, that look, there has to be a paradigm shift, and very much the things that Joshua has said is what was said on behalf of APC, that this country needs rescuing, and thank God the voters have appointed this political party to take over government and see what they can do about it. So there were high hopes that, in fact, look at the word change. It was going to be a change from how things used to be. But from what we've been talking about, and Joshua has alluded to it, it looks like we're unfortunately going back to a bit more of the same that we've been used to.
I thank
Joshua.
Mr. Joshua. He was very clinical, if you listen to him properly. My problem is that is he aware that is leadership prototype that he has come up with now. Are Nigerians ready for that prototype? It is one thing for me to opinionate. It is left for millions of Nigerians to accept my opinion.
Or not?
Or not. That's my problem with his leadership prototype.
Okay. When you say leadership prototype, was it when you refer to people thinking narrowly that between Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba, that's the extent of the rotation?
Yes.
And that there are other groups that are sort of disenfranchised if you keep on...
We are enmeshed.
This is related to the salad bowl principle that you
we
talked about.
We are enmeshed in materialism.
Aha. We are enmeshed in materialism. And
that's my problem with his leader. He has come up with a very brilliant leadership prototype. A president that will work for the entire 36 states of the Federation. That is his own proposition. But my question is that, with us being enmeshed in materialism,
can we get there?
Can we get there?
Mr. George, good morning, sir, and thank you for holding on.
Thank you, Yori, and good morning to the prof there.
Good morning, sir.
Yori, you have left us to the realm of speculation because the topic doesn't give one sufficient information to make comment. So I will also want to remain at the realm of speculation. The only thing that I know that people are interpreting as travails of the vice president is this issue of establishing an economic council that doesn't have a government official as a representative. You cannot call that the travails of the vice president. If it is a travail, it is a travail for the country. Personally, I do not agree with that. Some people are saying because the team is full of professionals, let them do it. Yes, they are professionals. But they were not elected by Nigerians to govern them. If anything goes wrong in this economy today, nobody will call any member of that council for account. But it is the president and his vice that were elected. So if there is such a council that is going to be taking far-reaching decisions, a representative of the government that can be held responsible by the people should be a member. So I do not personally agree with the idea of sidelining, if I may use that word, the vice president from that council. That is one. Secondly, sir, if speculations are anything to go by, there are some people that are trying to see that power does not rotate to the Southwest in 2023. That's the summary of it. If the APC tries it, from where I sit, Uncle Yori, they will fail and they will lose the presidency. We all know how it came about. President Buhari had tried to secure the presidential ticket 3 times. He won the northern states on the 3 occasions. But did he get it? He couldn't, because he couldn't meet up with the minimum of 4 geopolitical zones that are required to win the presidency. It was when Tinubu teamed up with him and rallied around the Southwest region to join him that he was able to win the presidency. If anyone is sitting there in Abuja and thinking that he can just use paper and pen to calculate and take the presidency away from the Southwest in 2023 and succeed, is daydreaming. I do not subscribe to the idea of people coming out to say this one, Joshua raised the point. Yes, minorities are also Nigerians. But the reality of the situation, Uncle Yori, is that a minority person cannot garner the required number of votes to be able to win the presidency of this country at our level of political maturity. Because we see it base our choices on ethnicity.
Yeah.
So for now, minority will have to team up with the majority or one of the majority tribes to be able to participate in governance. They can't talk about presidency now. They can talk about effective participation. Let Mr. President, President Buhari is the key decider of this problem, because he is the key. He is the popularity that the APC has in the north. If he doesn't support those people who are trying to deceive him to think that they can take power away from the Southwest and still win in 2023, if he doesn't support them, it will not work. Even if he supports them, I am telling him today, if he's listening to me, that they will not succeed. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George. Prof, I see that, I just get the sense that you approved largely of his submission.
He has nailed everything on the head.
So, as our people say, Owire.
Yes, correct. I think the last speaker,
Before
last
him,
caller.
Joshua.
yes, was more accommodating than the first one.
Oh, sorry. Mr. George was more accommodating than Mr. Joshua. Okay, who had, as you said, was clinical.
Very, very.
But you said there now is the pragmatic aspect to the intellectualization of the problem.
Yes,
Let me get Mazi Okoroafo from Arochukwu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Yori. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
You see, the storm going on now about our VP is not a new thing. It is normal in any political arena because 2023 is around the corner.
Yes.
People must talk. People must make move. Unless you have political stamina, political will, political strength to stand the wind. If you don't have those three key factors, Prof, at least as an education, you know that if you don't have that stamina politically, you don't need to talk about politics in any part of the continent.
You don't.
Let's look at America, USA. You have seen the vice president under the Democrats, Joe Biden. You all see what is happening now. He's not in the office. He was with Obama. You see what is the kind of storm he's giving what Obama, Trump. What are they saying? Impeach, 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 when you look at the screen. So this is what we call political storm. That everybody should understand. That there is need, like if you watch well, the structure of Nigeria, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, to me, as soon as we need somebody who is competent to read and to stay anywhere. Forget about Islam. That is why people say restructure, restructure, restructure. If Nigeria come with the formula of restructure, all this storm will not be. What is it that politics is politics. As long as there is what we call internal democracy in any political party in this country and any sphere you find yourself, politics must move on because there are people that we call political jobbers, at least, Prof, you are aware of it. These political jobbers, they must make moves. They must make the storm very, very hot so that you sit down and assess what is going on, whether it suits you or not. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo. Again, as it were, coinciding with what Prof said earlier, I use Fashola as, many people use it, but I remember it most from when Fashola said, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. Turbulence seems to go with politics. Yes, mostly we see the glamorous side of politics, we see the monetary side of politics and all of that, if you want. But you're saying that when it comes to the actual business work of being a politician, it's fraught with turbulence, turbulent weather.
Yes.
And you must be able to withstand it. That's what Mazi has just finished saying. Everybody seems to be saying that all of this is perfectly natural. Politics is not a tea party. It's not a picnic. So you even said that if you don't have liver, you don't have any business. And that's a local expression. We know what it means. It means you must have something of a lion heart.
Yes.
If you're going to be in politics.
Yes. Yes. You see, I think that was 2007. I collected an award on behalf of Asiwaju at the Amdala Hotel in Kaduna, all the 19 states of the North. The youth in the 19 states made him the lion heart of the Fourth Republic.
Okay.
As if they already know what is coming. If you are not a lion-hearted person, 2015 election will not go the way it went. Political turbulence is not meant for the lily-livered. It's meant for the courageous. It's meant for the daring, those who can dare.
I think one of the fighting forces somewhere in what country, he who dares wins. I've heard that. Ebe in the UK, good morning. Did I get that right?
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I just wanted to comment on this story about the Vice President's travails.
That is, if that is indeed what it is.
I don't think there is anything of the sort. My view is people are just going on social media and making a lot of, if you call it overture, diversions to focus on what's important. I think the Vice President is always going to have an input into this economical team that is being presided over by the President. By virtue of the fact of his qualifications as a lawyer, he will be able to look at the legal aspect of the impact of any decisions that are being made by this team.
Okay.
So, regardless of the fact that his initial team has been stood down and a new one has been formed, really is of no importance, because if, for example, the President goes on is on leave, he will have to take over. So he's always going to be appraised of what is going on.
So, thank you very much, Ebe. So, is it Ede? Sorry about that. I was putting a B in there. Thank you very much. And, you know, in a sense, it goes back to what you also said, that you think all of this is speculation. And that until the high command of the ruling party, APC, has spoken.
And which I'm very sure will speak.
They will speak soon.
Yes.
Shortly.
Yes.
Yes, because quite frankly, it's a bit too late now, because you can see social media is going crazy. I mean, it's getting crazier by the day. Stories are coming up.
Don't let us lose sight of the possibility of the conspiracy theory.
That also has to be factored in.
Yeah.
And so people sort of understand.
Okay. The issue of the economic renaissance team has nothing to do with Mr. Vice President's purported travail. I don't see any travail.
Okay.
That's why I put everything in the realm of speculation.
But if that is not an issue, but 2023 is definitely an issue.
It is an issue.
It is definitely an issue.
Nobody can take that away. It is even the issue.
Okay.
Not question of an issue.
Okay.
It's the issue.
Okay. Now, okay. I guess, well, Prof, I'm going to have to leave it here. I've prodded and poked and probed. Well, I've taken. It's like trying to draw water from a stone for the moment. But I want to thank you, Prof, because I think you've given us enough to satisfy everybody. Well, it will still be in the speculative realm,
it is.
But at least I think I can take from this conversation this morning that it's speculative.
It is.
Everything that's going on is speculative. And can we be patient? And when the APC High Command speaks, then we'll be able to speak. For the avoidance of doubt, all of this that's going on has to do with 2023 elections.
It is.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Tunde Samuel, Pro-Chancellor, Federal University, Oye, and APC Chieftain. Appreciate you coming as always, sir.
Thank you very much, Yori.
All right, then. So that's our program. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I hope you got a bit more out of that than I did, but we all had the same material. Perhaps you're a bit more creative. You'll be able to get more out of it than I could. I'm Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.